Hey, we're Against the Current, and this is our track by track of past lives.
No, I don't wanna. I can't stand it when you touch me like that. 'Cause it just reminds me of the nights that I spent.
Strangers Again is about a toxic relationship that took up so much of your life that you kind of lost who you were in it. And it's about really wanting to be a stranger again to that person, not wanting to know them anymore. So it's a pretty heartbreaking song, but it also has an important message of wanting to come out of it on your own.
When we wrote Strangers Again, that was definitely like a groundbreaking moment because we were writing for a couple weeks before that, and we kind of were just like, we're grabbing at like thin air, like there wasn't much there. And when we finished that one, we were like really excited. We're like, okay, now we're like working on a record here.
Now we're moving.
So that inspired us, to like write the rest of the record.
Yeah.
The way it was. So that was an exciting moment.
Yeah.
What's the fuss about? I've been trying to suss it out. Everybody's just on and on.
Fuss is a fun one. It's a fun one.
What's it about? What's the fuss about? I can tell you the vibe's about, but
Yeah,
someone
tell us
tell
the
what
vibes.
it's about.
The fuss for us was kind of just, it always feels like someone is telling you what's trendy right now, what's new, what's exciting, what's cool. And for us, especially in the band world, you always hear like, oh, you got to do it like this now. Oh, everybody's doing this. And for us, it's kind of just like, what is all the fuss about? Like, why is everyone so hyped up about this one thing right now? Because it's usually not that groundbreaking. And there's usually another thing tomorrow.
I think it's very fitting for us as people.
Yeah.
We don't like to overhype anything. We just kind of like just let it come out.
We're very, very docile people.
I like the way my car smells, throw cigarettes in my ashtray. I like the way the sun felt when it rolls over the freeway.
I Like the Way is very nostalgic, and it's about that kind of, it has a summer romance for me. I was thinking very like Grease, like 50s summer romance, like hanging out on the bleachers and stuff. About just, that really, really timeless feeling of just falling in love maybe for the first time. Personal, for me, was one of the hardest songs to write on the record because it was about losing my friend Julius. But beyond that, it was about working through losing Julius, which for me was really difficult because I had never lost someone so young before and by a way that was potentially preventable. So I didn't really know what to do with what I was feeling, and I was angry and I was sad and I was confused and I was frustrated and I was mad at him, and that made me mad at myself because I was like, what are you doing getting mad at him? So Personal was my way of working through all of those things and then ultimately saying, but beyond all this, you inspired me to be a musician, so now I'm going to go out there and fight for both of us on this.
When will the voices stop making trouble inside? If I look in the mirror, will I see through their eyes? When will the voices in my head just stop and let me rest? I can't take it. Here come the voices again.
Voices is all about how in today's world, there are so many voices constantly talking at you, whether it's online or whether it's your parents, your friends, everyone has something to say. Everyone has an opinion, and the internet has maybe empowered people too much to have such strong opinions. And it's really, really easy to get yourself down about that and to listen to everyone else's voice but your own. And that kind of noise can just drown out your own way of doing or saying things.
You make me scream, and I try, but you keep on pushing me. Oh, pretty please, why don't you leave?
Scream was fun. It was really fun to write. It's got like a really weird melody to it. And it's all about just that kind of, it's a more sarcastic, fun take on a toxic relationship. So how much it's okay during the good times, like it's fine. This isn't bad, but when we fight or when you do those annoying things, it is so frustrating. I just want to scream, but I somehow still can't walk away from it. Fuck.
I almost forgot about you, ooh, breaking my heart. I almost forgot what I went through, left out the most important part. It got really bad, we lost what we had. I almost forgot about you, ooh, I almost forgot.
Almost Forgot is a somewhat breakup song, but about maybe not quite being over it and having to remind yourself why you're not in that relationship anymore. It's a little bit of a sweet and bittersweet song because you're still remembering all the good times that you had, but then you're like, oh wait, but remember all these bad times as well. You know, you remember moving into the apartment, but then you also remember why you moved out of the apartment.
Bed bugs. Roaches.
If love is blind, why do we got to be pretty all the time? If love is blind, why do we got to be pretty all the time?
PATT was really fun for me to write, but also kind of scary because I wasn't sure if everyone would get it. It's a sarcastic take on the pressure that girls feel constantly, that we have to be pretty all the time. I mean, especially for me, it's something in my everyday life. It's if I'm walking off the bus without makeup and someone asks me like to take a picture, I'm like, oh shit, like I can't do that. Like, so I think there's this artificial pressure that we've put on ourselves to feel like we need to be our best self to be enough. We need to be the made up version of ourselves. And I hate feeling like that. And I just want to feel like my natural self is just as good. So it's kind of that little jab at that feeling, whether it comes from us or whether it comes from society, is that it's so ridiculous and we shouldn't be able to pressure ourselves that hard.
I know it. Hey, hey, I give myself a friendly reminder. Remember to smile. Remember the pain. Oh, and we last for a while. Throw away the last 2 years in the past. Tell it to myself right now.
Friendly reminder is a fun one because it's all about wanting to just give yourself a little pick-me-up on a bad day. So there are so many times I feel like I personally make my bad moods worse, where I am like, if I'm in a sad or bad mood, I just kind of want to sit there and marinate in it, and I end up being 100 times more sad or mad or whatever it is. So sometimes once in a while, I just need to give myself like, hey, it's not that bad. Like you've felt better before. You're going to feel better again. And that can help me just perk up a little bit.
I want to come alive, come alive. Tell myself that it's alright. Come alive. Yeah, I'm tired, but I gotta fight. I want to come alive.
Come Alive is all about feeling numb and wanting to get back to who you used to be. And I think there's nothing worse than feeling numb, because at least when you're sad or when you're angry or when you're in a deep, state of anything like that, you feel things. You feel something very saturated and real. But once you move through that and you get to that numbness, it's more soul crushing because there's nothing. Everything kind of just feels very gray. So for me, I know that was the worst place that I could end up in, and I did. And I didn't really know how to get out of it, but I knew for me that the one thing all I wanted to do was get back to who I was. I wanted to come alive.
You wrap me in a white flag in my darkest hours. So tell me, will you stay now? 'Cause I feel like I'm safe now.
Sweet Surrender is the only nice love song, I guess, on the record, kind of. Well, I guess things I like, but it's in past tense. And it's all about actually coming out of a toxic relationship and how the relationship you're currently in helped you with that. And it's how someone pulled you out of that and kind of helped you save yourself. Not necessarily saved you, but gave you the strength to keep fighting because you wanted to fight for that person. I was just saying that my favorite part about recording in LA is that the Postmates opportunities are endless. So I ate really well the entire record
Poquito
cycle.
Mas.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
That place.
the Mexican place.
Poquito
Or-
Mas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
across from the
yeah.
studio. We
Studio
did a
we're
bunch of
working
the
a
songs.
lot,
Right? Yeah.
Poquito Mas was
We ate
lit.
there a lot.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's you get these like big bowls that are just like a tortilla chip bowl, and it's got your burrito in it. It's unreal.